Dan, what exactly am I looking at here?
Okay, so that is a 60-meter robot named Leopardon.
And why exactly are we starting an episode with a robot named Leopardon?
Because the guy piloting this is Spider-Man.
Nope.
1978, Japan, Spider-Man, robot. But wait, we'll get there later.
Oh, I think we need to get there less later and more immediately.
No, we'll get there. But Leopardon isn't even the strangest stop on this trip.
You, sir, have an uphill battle proving to me that there's something stranger than a Spider-Man piloting a huge robot space creature.
Well, there's a Spider-Man who never once spoke a word on screen. He communicated entirely through comic book word balloons.
Okay, that's a good start.
Because he was teaching children to read.
Okay, that's a better start.
So before he was the friendly neighborhood anything, there was a lot of things that Spider-Man was first. He was a reading mascot, he was a serious young man in CBS primetime, and briefly a man who summoned a robot from space.
With great power comes great responsibility.
To talk about very early live-action Spider-Man.
Cue the web slinging.
Welcome to the Hubbubbery with Dan and Hunter. Proceed responsibly.
So before we even get to the TV movie that everyone kind of half remembers, we have to go back even further.
Yes, way back to 1974.
Yeah, this is 3 years before any live-action Spider-Man. Before the TV movie existed, there was already a Spider-Man on television.
Yeah, and probably not many out there would have guessed what network it was on, right, Dan?
No, because it was on PBS, on the TV show The Electric Company. You remember The Electric Company?
Well, there's a lot I don't remember, Dan, and The Electric Company was a little before my time, but this was a children's educational show, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a show that really taught kids how to read, and tucked into the show were these little segments called Spidey Super Stories. It had a live-action Spider-Man in full costume fighting low-stakes villains.
Right, this is a bizarre idea from the mid-'70s, right? So a live-action PBS Spider-Man on a kid's reading show. I love it.
Yeah, and he was played by a dancer and stuntman named Danny Seagren.
Yeah, so I actually found something on him while I was prepping for this. First off, Danny passed away not that long ago, November 2025. I was really sorry to hear that. But also I found that he wasn't just a stuntman. He was a professional dancer first, trained in mime and physical performance.
Nah, see, I didn't know that at all. But that explains a lot, because the way he moved always kind of stuck with me, even as a little kid. It was just really acrobatic.
Yeah, spider mime, maybe. Ugh. So it makes sense since he's always silent the whole time. The physicality kind of has to drive the storytelling. So tell me more about the reading show angle.
Well, since he never spoke, everything he said came through word balloons on screen, like a comic book. The idea was that kids could read along and follow the story.
That's actually a pretty clever use of the character and adaptation of the comic book style. And you said you watched this as a kid, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We watched it in grade school. This was like appointment viewing for me.
It was really?
Yeah, genuinely. My favorite part of watching The Electric Company. The rest of the kids would be sitting there for the letters and the sketches, but me, I was just waiting for Spidey.
Okay, so revisiting it for this, does it hold up? Was it one of those nostalgia things where the actual content is just kind of rough?
It's surprisingly charming, honestly. Low budget, obviously, but they used actual comic book panels in place of real special effects half the time. But, there's honestly something genuinely fun about a silent Spider-Man just sort of bopping a guy named the Spoiler.
Well, the Spoiler?
Yeah, well, he's a villain whose entire scheme is ruining people's fun. That's the whole bit.
How truly maniacal.
So maniacal.
He also likes to spoil cake.
And here's the thing I have to mention, because it's been living in my head since I was a kid.
All right, the way you started that makes it sound like you are theorizing at a very young age. So are you about to lay down a silent PBS Spider-Man crackpot theory?
Well, maybe. At least I felt this way as a kid. One of the recurring cast members of The Electric Company was this young actor who played a character called Easy Reader. And the actor who played Easy Reader, Morgan Freeman.
Really? The actual Morgan Freeman, huh?
Yeah, this is pre-fame. And as a kid, watching Easy Reader pop up scene after scene, sometimes as different characters entirely.
Different characters, so like early Mike Myers sort of situation.
Oh, yeah, he played multiple roles across the show. He was a cop, a mad scientist, Count Dracula at one point.
Morgan Freeman played Count Dracula on a children's reading program.
Yes, and as a kid, I became convinced, fully, totally convinced that Morgan Freeman was secretly Spider-Man.
Okay, why exactly?
So in my kid brain, the whole show was just him undercover. He just kept showing up around Spider-Man. My 5-year-old brain connected some dots that did not need connecting.
I love that young Dan theory. So do you still think Morgan Freeman is Spider-Man?
No, I do not.
So did you ever tell anyone this theory at the time?
I'm pretty sure I absolutely told people this theory at the time, and with total confidence.
How cool would it have actually been, though, if Morgan Freeman was Spider-Man?
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward to 1977 on CBS. Now, this is the one that most people who remember any of this we're talking about today, this is what they're going to be thinking of.
Okay, so first, we're on a more sensical network with CBS, but this one was actually interesting to me because it also came out just before another Hubbubbery favorite Marvel property of ours, the 1979 Captain America made-for-TV movie with Red Brown. Go check it out if you haven't. Part of the same era of early Marvel TV adaptations. So in this one, Nicholas Hammond played Spider-Man, right?
Yes, and I watched this live too. First show, 1977, I was there.
So you're basically the primary source for this entire episode.
I am historically relevant to this episode. Yes, this started as a 90-minute made-for-TV movie, a pilot, basically. And it did so well that CBS turned it into an ongoing series. Highest rated CBS production of the entire year. But here's the thing. This only lasted 13 episodes, over 2 years.
So despite being a hit and doing so well?
Yeah, so I did some digging because that didn't make sense to me either. And here's the part I never actually knew when I watched this as a kid. CBS got nervous about being seen as, quote unquote, the superhero network. You know, they already had the Incredible Hulk, they had Wonder Woman, then later, obviously, Captain America, Doctor Strange, all running around the same time. They were worried it made them look unserious.
Okay, so they canceled a hit show because it was too popular at being a thing they were embarrassed about.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with the stunt and special effects work for this thing, and it all falls in 3 distinct categories. One is truly wild, one is kind of expected, and one is, oof, I wish they hadn't done that. The first bucket, the wild. So there's the stuntman, Fred Waugh. He is the one that's actually doing the Spider-Man's physical stuff. So it's all the web slinging, all the wall crawling.
I remember the web crawling actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, so it did. It did look good. Some of it, though. So apparently the shots where they could pull it off, Fred actually did it. He did the real stunt. So he climbed the side of the Empire State Building for one scene. No CGI, no safety net. It was the real Empire State Building.
Seriously?
Yeah, and that wide shot of the New York skyline, genuinely New York. But the Daily Bugle offices, the alleyways, all the street level stuff.
Yeah, let me guess. West Coast.
Yeah, so it's Queens by the way of LA. Apparently, he'd sometimes have a camera rig strapped to his own head for POV shots while doing this, and you could tell in the show.
Well, that's nuts.
Yeah, I know. So here's the part that surprised me. Despite all of that dangerous stunt work, actual web swinging in the show is actually rare.
You see, I don't think that registered when I watched it as a kid. I just remember being thrilled anytime he climbed, anything.
Well, that makes sense. So the swinging sequences took 2 full days of rigging because they were so dangerous. They'd film it from multiple angles in one go just to stretch the footage across different episodes.
So some of what I was watching across different weeks could have been the same stunt.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So the second bucket of stunt work is one you might expect, and admittedly I'm going to kind of gloss over this one a little so we can get to the last one. But they used forced perspective floors for some of the closer wall crawling shots.
Oh, so they built sets, but they put them on the floor and just angled the camera in a way that make it look real enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, makes sense for this. So now in the third bucket, the early TV chroma key technology, commonly known as blue screen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which parts you're talking about here.
Yeah. You know it when the first time you see it. Spider-Man's walking out on the exterior of his house, and the shots look, they don't look terribly convincing.
Yeah, I can't imagine blue screen tech was great for a relatively low-budget TV show in 77.
No, it was not great. It was bad. It couldn't handle fine details or quick motion, so they didn't have the best handle on consistent lighting or the right angles to shoot to make Spider-Man's physical interaction with walls look great. But I do have to say it provided some fantastic comedic moments.
I like their ambition, though. Now, what I clearly remember is Nicholas Hammond himself. I mean, he took it seriously, like genuinely seriously.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a quote from him. He said he always wore the actual suit himself whenever he was filming scenes with other actors, even non-action scenes. He said it wasn't fair to make the other actors act opposite a stunt double.
Okay, that's a thoughtful little detail for a 70s superhero TV show.
Well, and it tracked with how the show felt. Honestly, it wasn't campy. Hammond played Peter Parker with a lot of sincerity that I responded to as a kid. Now, famously, Stan Lee thought the show was too juvenile, and he didn't like it very much.
Yeah, well, Stan was probably a bit close to the material, right? Yeah, I mean, he had likely a higher expectation for Spider-Man.
And that makes sense, but I loved it. Sincerity won out for me over comic accuracy.
So now we get to the one I think most people watching this have never even heard of, and I've been desperately waiting to discuss this since the cold open.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had this vague awareness of this one for years, and I didn't actually understand the whole picture until pretty recently.
1978, Japan, a company called Toei made their own live-action Spider-Man show.
Yeah, sure. Different country, different adaptation. That tracks, right?
It does, but not really for long. So Marvel and Toei struck this licensing deal where they basically get to swap toys. Marvel gets to use some of Toei's giant robot designs in their comics. That's where the Shogun Warriors toy line comes from.
Shogun Warriors. Love them. I never had one of the big ones as a kid, but I really, really wanted one. I do still have a die-cast Mazinga.
So in exchange, Toei got the rights to Spider-Man. Oh, there you go. You've been hiding that back there for a while, haven't you?
Yeah. So what'd they do with them?
They hand the design work to a guy named Katsushi Murakami, and he basically decides on his own authority, 3 things have to happen.
Scared of that setup.
Yeah, you should be. So, 1, Spider-Man has to be an alien.
Okay, fast off the blocks with that one.
2, he needs a spaceship.
If he's going to be an alien, he has to have a spaceship.
Agreed. And 3, the spaceship has to transform into a giant robot.
And do you think no one asked the question, or are we going too far here?
Giant transforming robots were huge in Japan in 1978, and he just decided that's what audiences wanted.
So Spider-Man's powers come from...
Well, of course, as the legend goes, a motorcycle racer named Takuya Yamashiro gets a blood transfusion from a dying alien.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that sentence.
Yeah, well, it's best just to keep going. So that alien blood transfusion gives him spider powers.
Not a radioactive spider bite.
Get out of here with that talk, Dan. No spider bite. Alien blood transfusion.
And the giant robot.
Named Leopardon, about 60 meters tall. He comes out of a spaceship called the Marveler. And when things get serious, Spider-Man climbs inside and pilots it. But that's not all, my friend. Leopardon also has a sword. And his finishing move is literally called Sword Vigor.
Sword Vigor.
Sword Vigor.
Okay, so what did you find about Marvel and all of this? Did they just let it happen? I mean, what did Stan Lee say? Did he see it?
That's fair, yeah. So this part actually kind of surprised me the most. Stan Lee and Marvel actually loved it, despite having almost nothing in common with the comics.
So Stan Lee didn't like the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man, but he was cool with this.
Yes, yeah. They specifically praised the stunt work on this show and how spider-like the actors' movements were. And get this, Marvel apparently pushed back on the robot at first, thought it was a step too far, rightly so, but ultimately they let it stay because Toei argued that they needed to hook young viewers with it.
Were they right?
Oddly enough, they were absolutely right. Leopardon was such a hit as a toy that it directly led Toei to start putting giant robots in one of their other big franchises, Super Sentai.
So that was the franchise that became the source material for Power Rangers in the U.S. So basically, the Japanese Spider-Man is the reason the Power Rangers have a Megazord.
Yes, absolutely. Japanese Spider-Man alien robot is basically the great-grandfather of the Megazord.
Yeah, that might be the best fact I've heard all year.
Yes, agreed completely.
So here's what's wild to me is putting all 3 of these side by side. None of them agree on what Spider-Man even is. The Electric Company version didn't let him talk. The Hammond version plays it dead serious, grounded, kind of like a detective show. And then the Japanese version gives him a giant robot and a alien origin story.
Yeah, so 3 completely different answers to the same question.
And none of them are wrong. They're just completely different ideas of who this character's for.
Which honestly, I mean, it's kind of why Spider-Man's worked in so many forms since. Comedy, tragedy, kid show, gritty drama. The character is somehow very flexible.
Yes. Now, whether he's an alien with a robot or a silent reading program superhero, he's still somehow the same guy underneath.
You know, give or take a sword vigor or shoddy blue screen action sequence or two. Dan! I think it's time not to play with your toy.
Okay, everybody, grab your word balloons.
Warm up your web shooters.
And prepare your giant robot.
We are reacting to all of it.
Welcome to
The Reactor!
Oh, there he is. Not a word out of him.
Yeah, you know, it's genuinely kind of sweet, isn't it? I do love that a kid had to be literate to get this joke.
Educational and a superhero. 2 birds, 1 stone. Look at those production credits.
Produced by Edward J. Montaigne.
Directed by E.W. Swackhammer.
Those are the most confidently 70s names I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
Swackhammer was not playing around.
No, I don't think Swackhammers ever play around. All right, so the movie opens here with a robot handling nuclear waste.
Yeah, a very loud robot.
A very loud, shaky robot.
Handling nuclear waste. You know, I've seen greater precision on the claw machine at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, I've seen toddlers stack blocks with more confidence.
I've seen inflatable tube men with better stability.
Can't we maybe use the good robot for the radioactive material?
This robot's moving like it's being operated with an Etch-a-Sketch.
A little nervous. 1 dose of that stuff, and it's goodbye, Charlie.
I don't think it's supposed to sound radioactive, is it?
I don't know much about nuclear safety, but I don't think wiggling is in the handbook. Watch out!
Yeah, we're all gonna be dead. Yeah.
What janky lab are they working in? There's a spider crawling around Peter's desk.
I'm not an arachnophobe, but that spider is huge. Stevie Wonder would have seen that thing.
Yeah. And then his first wall crawl, he just sort of figures it out.
And then he tests the web by swinging about a foot off the ground from a very small tree.
Yes, that'll do. I mean, he is like this far off the ground. Yeah, that works.
I think that was the professional stunt guy on that one. Say what you will about the weird alien blood thing.
Yeah, this fight choreography, it genuinely holds up.
I mean, it does look good. And, you know, listen to those sound effects.
The sound designer found his favorite button. I like how they make Spider-Man stick to the walls in this show.
That's one way to solve the effect.
It's less wall crawling and more pause button.
The first lyric of the theme song.
Yeah, wow.
Honestly, it's a fitting summary of this entire show. Spider strings?
Apparently Webb was feeling a little too mainstream.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, friendly-ish. Now this fight, on the other hand...
Are we calling these guys ninjas?
More like ninja, because they're not stealthy, and they're not very good.
No. Spidey escapes straight up to the ceiling, and none of them think to swing a bow staff upward.
And then there's the second rooftop fight, and somehow the ninjas are already waiting up there.
You'd think they were just stuck up there this whole time?
Yeah, probably. But hey, they used the downtime productively. They fashioned that flamethrower.
Well, that's an efficient use of a stakeout.
Meanwhile, the cops in the police station are on the case.
Oh, yeah. They'll definitely have this thing solved in no time.
The patient's alpha waves have been resonated. Now what does that mean? I don't know.
Okay, so this big finale where the villain's evil plan using mind control.
The pin I placed on your jacket. Touch it. Keep it with you wherever you go.
Causes panic and chaos over this.
And the device is knocked off. See, that's why you don't conduct mind control through lapel pins.
And then our hero walks off into the sunset of very sunny New York by way of California sunset.
Yes, that unmistakable classic New York City skyline.
Going back to this a little bit, we talked about the fact that you watched all of these a little bit, right?
I definitely watched PBS.
Okay, yeah.
And CBS, I guess I only watched 13 episodes of it.
And the Japanese Spider-Man, you hadn't really watched that?
I knew about it. I remember seeing clips of it. I don't think I ever had a chance to watch it. I mean, it was later when when I say later, it was probably like 10 years later.
Okay.
I remember catching it somehow or somewhere and thinking,
so like early morning.
It was like, I'm like, I didn't know that it was an entirely different show. I thought they just, stopped making it in the States and moved it to Japan. So in my head, they took the same show and just moved it there. I didn't know anything about I knew about the robot, but I didn't know about the alien blood and the motorcycle guy and it being a totally different thing. And I did not know about Sword Vigor. Yeah. But it was CBS just doing their thing. And that's what I thought happened, Right. We had gone through this with the Incredible Hulk TV movie and it was huge and it eventually made a series. Yeah. They did it with this. They had a movie. With the Nicholas Hammond. Huge. Yeah. And they made it a series. Yeah. Then they kind of backed away. We also, go back to, our one of our early episodes where we talked about Red Brown and the Captain America movies. There was 2 of them. And no series. CBS had that deal. They had Hulk, they had Spider-Man, they had Captain America.
The One Doctor Strange.
The One Doctor Strange movie. We'll have to talk about that sometime because that was a one and done on that one. And yes, I watched that live.
So then really just at the end of that decade, they just had a little fatigue, superhero fatigue.
Yeah, because at the same time they had Wonder Woman, which is DC, and that's a whole other thing because there was 3 seasons of that.
It's interesting seeing the whole lineup of superhero shows around that time. But yeah, it's nice to see that Marvel finally came around, and here we are in sort of a golden age-ish of Marvel. Yeah. Maybe slightly more exciting than it was in the 70s.
They worked with what they had, apparently. And with Spider-Man, they had practical, real stunts. They had
a blue screen.
All the way down to a blue screen that maybe didn't match. There you have it. 3 completely different Spider-Men.
And honestly, all kind of worth watching in their own weird way.
So tell us, did you grow up with any of these? The Electric Company Spider-Man, or the 1977 Hammond version of Spider-Man? Or did you even know that the Japanese Spider-Man even existed?
And if you had a Kid Logic fan theory as ridiculous as Dan's Morgan Freeman one, we want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this show, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, all the stuff.
And you know what? We'll see you next time on The Hubbubbery.
We hope you liked our little show. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies, and share with anyone currently attempting to communicate with raccoons. I once tried to teach a raccoon bookkeeping. We disagreed on depreciation schedules. Farewell from Nigel Fiddlesticks.